As for the moment, so I'd come on here, tell you all we won't need the gloves this time because we've just kind of already done all the stuff where we had to fill these little holes and cracks in to take care of that part of the job where that all gets done, all this work inside. And then I say there's probably just other stuff we got as far as like little grits of sandpaper are concerned, and we've probably got little more of the ways to go about how we do what we do, and then kind of take it a little where it's gonna farther us out a little more. I say, there's probably some in here we have that we haven't yet used, but I say when it comes to things like sanding something like this, we try to go from toughest to from roughest to thinnest, as finest, as many ways as possible. So use as many different grains as we have. Getting a little mixed on words here, but I'm going to go with a 60 grit now. I went with an 80 grit on the last one, or a 40 or something like that. And, well, actually, let's see, that was actually a 40 grit on the last one. So before we do a 60, we will do an 80. So we're going to take this and try to smooth along, get a little more work done into these dreidels, and take it a little further. Now, I want y'all to notice where I putted this in the last video. You see how that holds so well? There's probably still a little crack around it, but that at least covers in most of it and makes it so it'll be a sturdy dreidel to at least stay up the whole way. I've shown you some on these, but like on these, we sand every one of these little corners and every one of these little edges and the top. So I'm going to go slowly about it to show you all how it's done. And this is where we just got these bottom panels. Now we're going to go to the sides. Last of all, we go to the top. say that there's probably around here somewhere a pencil we could get out, or a pen or something, and I'd say if we have a pencil around, that'll be better because it would be easier to sand off the lines. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's a step that doesn't come till further on. I'm thinking too far ahead now, so now we're going to go down to a 60 grit for this next little part. I was just thinking of another part that I'm going to have to probably do a thin grit sanding after, but we'll take care of that when it comes around. With each grit, you do the same process. Go along these panels, go along the edges, and go along the top. To say that as for how far we just take these little things with what we do, there's probably going to be other grits in between that we're going to use along the way, and I see some more 80 grits there, but usually the next one down would be a 120 grit. I've had these for years in all different kinds of little sets. I've used these just to sand down little figurines I made on the scroll saw and the bandsaw. They weren't really carved things, so they didn't show talent as much, but I decided over time that there were going to get to be more things I could carve and more things I would use more grits of sandpaper for, so this is kind of like the little brand I used to buy them in, the Gator brand, but you know, brands have changed over times, and I've used them different ways over times. So this is how it's just going to be when we're going to get down to work. So I'm going to have a little more to share as we go. I have gotten it to where I've kind of sanded the different parts of the dreidel in a different order because I'm experienced enough, and therefore I can when it comes down to little smaller grits and thinner, finer grits. So that's kind of what I'm working on here. And you know, you've probably seen me go from top to bottom on these rather than bottom to top like I was demonstrating, but that's just kind of one of the things where when you get a little more experienced, that's probably something you're going to start to be able to do. This one kind of had a flathead point on it, so had to kind of sand that down a little bit. Sand that down a little bit. I tell you, I was kind of talking my last line over the sander, but, you know, making noise. You probably couldn't hear my last few words, but managing that, taking care of that now. And I'd say as for the last grit, we would use a 220 grit if we had it, but what we have is a 240 grit, so we're going to finish it off with that. Some of these I couldn't remember whether we had taken care of the tops on them or not, so just went back to kind of go over that with a few. And I'd say probably in the next video we're going to kind of demonstrate some other work, maybe kind of get around to where we will kind of draw little X's across the top to make the place in the center where we're going to drill the holes. And that is something where whenever I kind of get a hold of a pencil sometime, we'll take care of that or have one in this corner to use. So I want to say that this has been a good time to record this video. Thank you all for coming on and watching. Hope to have many more with you in the future. Hope you all will continue to come on to watch and see how things are done and hear my stories and there's going to be many more ways to celebrate in the times ahead. Do want to kind of inform you all that I've got a short work week this week. I only have to work the next 2 days because this is Thanksgiving week, and I work in a school cafeteria, and the school system is about to go on Thanksgiving break. So we got 2 more days to work, and the kids have 2 more days of school. Then we're going to get off the rest of the week, and next Saturday I have a show in Nicholasville at the First Vineyard Winery, where I'm going to be having my display out, my crafts out to be shown and sold. So hope you all will stay tuned and keep in touch and hear all the rest from me, and take care and be safe always.